everybody. Balazs and David, we're gonna emit the rest into the Zoom.
Oh, perfect.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Motivational Mondays, our third edition of Motivational Mondays. We're just gonna give the others a couple of more minutes to join us. So in the meantime, hang in there and enjoy the music.
Morning.
Morning. Morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Motivational Mondays, the third edition of our session where we try to start the week on a positive note and inspire and encourage you to have a good start to the week. We're just waiting for more people to come in, so just hang in there for a while and just watch the slides, some motivational sayings there, and we will start shortly. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend.
Morning.
And yeah, welcome to the third edition of Motivational Mondays. Today, we're really privileged to have two really outstanding coaches, Balazs Babella and Davide Bertoli, with us this morning. So I'm just gonna unmute all of you and let's just say a big good morning to everyone. Yeah.
Everything all the time.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
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 Everybody.
Other one is like some.
All right. So today, this morning is actually a really special morning for us in Coach SG because today marks the third year of the launch of Coach SG. So on 11th of May in 2017, Coach SG was launched. So today is our third birthday. So it's a privilege to have Balazs is clapping his hands. Yeah, we're gonna have a picture taken at the end of today, this morning's talk, just to celebrate our 3 years of being formed. Yeah. As I said, today we are privileged to have two really outstanding coaches amongst us. The first is Balazs Babella, and second is David. So Balazs hails all the way from Hungary, and he is a former two-time world champion in the K4, winning in the World Championship in 2005 and 2007. And he's currently the head coach of our national sprint kayak team. And in 2014, he was a proud winner of the Singapore Sports Award Coach of the Year. So welcome, Balazs. Welcome to the Motivational Monday. And second, we have David. David is hails from Italy, and he's a former golf professional turned coach, and currently head of education for Capital Asia. He is coaching here in Singapore, and has got quite a number of strong players under him. He is an NLP sport mental coach and swing catalyst ambassador. He's been really keeping himself busy connecting with his players, other coaches during this period, and we'll get him to share some of the experiences later on. So Balazs and David, can I get you to just turn on your mic and just say hi to our participants, our coaches who are with us this morning?
Hi, good morning. I'm very happy to be here. I'm really honored to be chosen one of the coaches to share on this special day. So thank you, Azhar, for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. David, a few opening words from you.
Good morning, everyone. David here. Thank you, Azhar, for inviting me. It's going to be fun this hour. So thanks again. And let's start.
All right. So Balazs, we're going to start with you first, yeah? But before that, just a note to our listeners, our viewers, and our coaches who are listening to us either via Zoom or on Facebook Live. If along the way there are questions that you want to ask the speakers, just put in those questions on Zoom chat or comment them on the Facebook page, and then we will look at it and we'll surface that to the speakers to help them to have them answer those questions. Yeah. But otherwise, it'll be much appreciated if you keep your mics muted so that we can hear David as well as Balazs clearly. Yeah. All right. So with that, we'll make a start. Balazs, I want to start with you, and for both of you, I've been doing quite a bit of digging, and Balazs, I managed to dig this out. Let's have a look. Yeah.
Manuel Munoz, Saul Traviotto, Borja Prieto, Jaime Acuña of Spain, Lane 7, Balazs Babella with Eric Vasco, Thomas Martinez of Slovakia, Lane 8, Andres Urbano, Stefan Shevchuk, Sergei Kowalski, Alexei Malisek of Russia, Rafael Valdez, Mario Szymanski, Thomas Douglas, Boris Jones, and the nations are Spain, Ukraine, Russia.
So Balazs, that was you on in 2005 in the World Championship. Is that right?
Yes, correct. That was my first.
So
win.
congratulations on that win. A very fast and very
Thank you
close
very
race, I must say. So that's a
Luckily-
surprise for you, Balazs. I managed to dig that out. Can you just share with us what was that feeling like? You know, back in that 2005. I know it's quite some time back, but I'm sure you still recall that feeling. What was it like? You know, crossing that line first and being crowned world champion in the K4 200 meters.
It was an amazing feeling, but thank you very much for fighting this. And I'm happy that I was not a marathon pedaler because it would take much longer to show my race. So it's a fast race, and I'm happy that we could show the whole thing now. It was actually a very interesting feeling when you finish the race. Like right after that, you have that adrenaline rush, which I don't know if there's anything else what can give you that kind of high feel than a win at a major competition. So it was just amazing. When we pedaled back, cooled down, and we went for the medal ceremony. The Hungarian national anthem is a sad national anthem, and I couldn't keep it in myself. So I was like tearing during that. That was maybe one of the most amazing moments in my sport career. The first win at the World Championships. So it was something what I wish for all the athletes who are putting themselves into a sport 100%, to have an opportunity to experience that. It doesn't have to be a World Champs. It can be something what they really aim for. But to be able to achieve what you were aiming for is an amazing feeling, and it cannot be compared to anything else.
Well, sounds amazing. Sounds really amazing, and I can sense that you are sounding a little bit emotional, trying to recall that time when you first clinched that World Championship, and then you did it again in 2007.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wondering, what motivated you to strive for excellence and to do your best to perform at the World Champs and being crowned the World Champ. How was that motivation, and what motivated you, and what was the role of your coach, and what role did he play in getting you guys really strong and doing really well in those 2 years?
Actually, it started way earlier. So to be able to be motivated, it's not something what comes in a few days or few months. It started when I started the sport. I started when I was 9, and
Wow.
my father was a coach. He's a coach still, actually. So at first, for me, sport was nothing else, just enjoying the company of others. So I was not extremely serious. I have a twin brother. I don't know if you guys know. He was way more successful as a young kid in this than me. And that was satisfying enough for me at a competition. So when we started the competition, he was in front. I was happy with that. I just pedaled and finished my race, and I was not really worried about my achievement. I was happy for my brother, and that was enough. So I think what was crucial for me to be able to achieve what I achieved is this love, like falling in love with the sport, and falling in love with my teammates, and I have friends, from then who are still my friends, and we are really close together. So that was something what motivated me. So it was feeling satisfied about being there on the water was something what motivated me. So it started very young. So it what is the magic in coaching, I think, and why I feel that the first coaches and the coaches for young athletes are very important, is to make them feel the way I felt. So make them feel in love
Passionate,
with sport. Yes.
Yeah.
Achieve that,
So-
that you can do things without even thinking about it. You do the training, and you don't think that it's hard, or don't think that it's difficult, because you just love to be there and you love to do that.
So I guess that's what we coaches always strive to do, to get our athletes, our players, our students to really be passionate about what we're doing. And I must say, I also love the look. If you can see the picture on the bottom right there, it's quite cool. You look like a rock star with the long hair and quite cool glasses. But I
Yeah.
want to pick up on the word that you used, the fact that you started when you were 9 years old and your father was a coach then. And
Yes.
yesterday, for those of you who have been following our Facebook page, you would have seen us posting about the My First Coach program and acknowledging
Yes.
that actually the first coaches in every child's life are indeed the parents. Yeah. Would you agree with
Yes.
that, Balazs?
Yes, definitely. So in my case, it's a bit different because my coach is really a coach, but I really believe that what parents can give at the first decade of a kid's life is crucial for the next years and decades as an athlete or even as a human being. So it's extremely important. So I believe that that is the first and most important part of human's life, not only as an athlete. So
Yeah,
it's really important.
yeah, and that's why we kind of roll out that. And I think on the part of coach and coaching, I think you've really done well. And in 2014, you were named Coach of the Year. So just now, I asked you for your thoughts and feelings and reflections as an athlete and winning the World Championship in 2005 and 2007. What was the feeling like being named Coach of the Year in 2014?
Actually, I was really surprised. So I was not expecting that to happen, but it was a very nice feeling. So I felt that actually in 2014, my team, we didn't do exceptionally well. We were just building our base. We were just building for something, but what I felt that our work was recognized. So I consistent work and what we were building was recognized, and that made me feel very good. So that really the hard work was feeling, and it uh, at 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 first, honestly, it was not something what is like extremely important for me, but the reason why I feel that it is important is because of my athletes. So it's not because it's a reflection of their achievement. So if I wouldn't be able to be coach of the year if I wouldn't have athletes who are doing well.
Yeah,
And
and
it's always important to look at the progress. So where did those athletes came from and where they are at that moment? So the improvement, and I think that was amazing that it was appreciated.
yeah, and I think I managed to dig this out, and it was from an article back in 2007, I believe, where that was when you first joined Singapore Canoe Federation as a coach, and I think you were meant to leave that
2008.
same year in December in Christmas, but I think
Yeah.
that the players' reaction about how they love your coaching was what made you stay. Is that right, Balazs?
Uh, okay, I will share the story with you like really honestly. So when I came to Singapore, it was in 2008. I was not planning to stay here for long. I was still an athlete back then, so I was an athlete coach for the past 2 years then, and I thought that I could come here for like 6 months, help a bit, enjoy the weather because it was the period of time when in Hungary it's quite cold, and after that go back, continue my training and just have a fun experience here. But when I came here, the what I felt that the athletes were really passionate. So that really, I mean, they were not fast. They were not really good in the sport. But the passion what they had towards this sport was amazing. And what I had to do is very simple. I just had to believe in them and believe that with hard work we can get somewhere. And I think that belief made them believe also, and that's what they didn't really get before. So nobody really believed in them before, And when I went back for Christmas, actually, what they did, they wrote a letter to me, which like, if I can quote it properly, they were saying that I can go back, no problem. So I can leave. They understand that if I can find another place where I can coach a better team that I can coach, then I should do that. So I shouldn't care about them because they don't deserve this kind of attention, and they are happy with what I give them, and they wish me luck in the future if I don't come back. So that kind of selflessness and love what they showed towards me made me think that maybe this is the place where I should stay longer. So
Yeah,
I was tearing when I was going onto the plane, and really this was something amazing. That the feeling was just amazing. So I came back.
that
And
was that's amazing story, Balazs. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. I think all coaches would want to, achieve something like that. The sense of gratification, sense of satisfaction when your athletes do something like that to us. Yeah. So thank you very much, Balazs, for sharing that story. Really amazing. David, I'm gonna move on to you now. And yeah, quite an illustrious career as well as a professional player, and then subsequently in 2012, becoming a coach. So your thoughts and your reflection on your time as a golf player, a professional, amateur and professional back then, David?
Sure. So I have played in some, for some years, important competition, but I will say the stress had the best of it. So I will say very simply, my reflection is as a player is that the body needs to be in connection with the mind in order for us to achieve and to succeed in sport, especially at a very high level.
Yeah.
So that is
where did that motivation come from? Did it come from something inside you? Was it something that was encouraged by your coach? What was the experience like?
Well, since when I was young, I was dreaming to represent the country. In this case, my Italy, basically, and I was extremely motivated. So it's something that I will say most probably came from my soul. So I'm gonna give you a little story. When I was when I finished school, almost every day I used to hitchhike to the golf course to train as much as I could. And during the evening, my mind used to call the golf course to figure out if I was still there. So basically, I was still waiting the last member to leave the golf club, and I was asking this member to bring me home, please, because I couldn't drive the car because I was quite little. So yeah, this is something that probably is more coming from the soul than anything else. And also, my coach played an important impact on my career development, and they made basically me see the potential I had. So I will say coaches have a huge influence on the future of the athletes.
So was that the reason why you eventually in 2012 make that switch from player to coach?
Well, in that period, I was incurring in some injuries, and at the same time, I couldn't manage the stress. So it was a point of my life where I needed to find the perfect balance, and I felt like at the same time that I was trying to feel balance, I was especially under pressure to achieve results. So therefore, I started as a joke to coaching without any expectation, and surprisingly, I felt a very strong engagement with it. I started from that moment. I started studying hardly because I was already studying back in the years. That from that moment onwards, I tried to get more into the details of my work. So into the swing, into the biomechanics, into the motion, into the body connections. And then I realized that I was like following the right path that I wanted. So, I always like to say to my student that every time they hit a shot, it's like if I was there hitting for them. So when they hit a ball, it's like if I was there playing. So I'm having perfectly balanced right now, even if I'm not playing, because the time that they are hitting a beautiful shot up in the air, flying like for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, and they are happy, I'm very happy. So, even if I'm not playing anymore, I'm a coach due to, this kind of decision, I will say that I'm really happy to have changed and to be here now.
That's nice. That's nice to hear, David. And I have something that I dug out about you, and I wanted to ask if you could share why you put this, because it's really interesting for me when I saw this, that the greatness of a coach is based on 2 points: shaping a physical difficulty and pulling out the talent, unite mind and body into a single channel. So it sounds like something that you strongly believe in, and kind of your coaching philosophy. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's basically, this is due more to my experience as a player. So, try to figure out what are your limitations in your body, and try to understand the level of your mind compared to your body, and trying to figure out how you need to balance each other and try to find the perfect connection. I think this is one of the most important concepts, not just in golf, so not just in my sport, but in every sport. So, try to understand the limitation, try to understand the points where, your students is struggling with, and try to understand where is the potential, and then from there, make a decision and move forward.
Yeah, interesting. And I also found something about you that I thought resonate with me, because it talks about how the use of technology has been something that I think for a lot of coaches, they find it a challenge. They don't really embrace it as much as we would like them to, for various reasons, obviously. And I wanted your thoughts on that, about the use of technology. And I see Mark Richmond asking the same question about the importance of the use of technology in the coaching. So would you like to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So during this years, I'm trying to specialize more and more, and try to understand also the anatomy of the body. And using technology, there is no guess. There is just one answer. So that is very important, because you can create a very trust relation between you coach and student. So if we have, and if we see the data that you can't say, okay, that's not true, you can move forward and you can achieve results in a very, very fast way. So I devote my time on learning and increase the knowledge, but not just in studying and understanding, but also in the type of technology that are out there in the market. And every time I see my student achieving results, this is stimulating me to learn more and invest still more money in the technology, because this is the way to go. This is the easiest way for me as a coach to achieve a result in a very, very fast way. So I could not be a great coach without it, because it's always a guess. If I try to, even with a video camera, even if I have a very high resolution camera, 250 frames per second, this is not enough, because 2D is completely different than 3D. What it looks, it doesn't mean they're real. So invest in the technology, and especially know the product that you are buying. That is the most important aspect. I have later, as you said, I'm gonna show you a few one slide regarding it, and you're gonna be surprised about what I'm thinking about technology, and also what you need to do as a coach to understand if that technology is important for you in your daily work or not.
Yeah, and we look forward to that in a short while. So I'm gonna thanks for that sharing. I'm gonna swing back since we're talking about golf. I'm gonna swing back to Balazs and just ask you about your thoughts in this current COVID situation where we can't get together with our athletes, and we can't train for you especially can't train in the water. What are some of the ways that you have continued to engage with your athletes, continue to motivate them, and make sure that when the circuit breaker and the COVID situation gets better, your athletes will be ready to bounce back into the water and training as hard as they did before? Balazs, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the first and most important thing is we have to stop saying that now during these difficult times, hard times, and all these things. With that, just saying that, we are already making some questions in the athlete's head. So we can say different times, but we don't have to say that it's a difficult time, even if it is. So if we already tell that it's how difficult it is, especially for young athletes, they will just, believe that. And even without having difficulties, they will find some difficulties because, everybody says that it's so difficult now. So it must be difficult for me as well. So it's a different time. So we have to adopt, but it's different is not necessarily more difficult or not necessarily less difficult, but it's just different. So what is the most important is to adapt to the situation. What we did, okay, for me it wasn't that hard because the senior team, we have a few so-called professional athletes. We could get paddling machines to their house, and they can do the training on it. So I try to not make them feel that it is something like totally different and they have to worry about what's going to happen after this, because I believe they don't have to. So we are kind of continuing the training plan what was given to them beforehand. So with, of course, some modifications, but it's what is difficult is as you mentioned, is to stay motivated. So you cannot start to motivate people. They just have to try to stay motivated. So if I would want to start them to be motivated now, then I would be a terrible coach. They should be motivated already, and I just have to help them that fire burning. So what I do and what I suggest to coaches to do is we have this, what we are using now is Zoom, for example, but any other way, you should keep in contact with your athletes, and not necessarily only about their training. So it's really good thing if you could call them, and if they could see you could see them and talk to them. Just ask them how they feel, how they are, just to make them feel that you care about them. I think is the most important thing, because that's what matters the most, and that's what is missing. So now in this world where everybody is on the phone, before this already nobody was using the phone to call. Everybody was using it to message. So calling was already a weird thing. Why do you call people when you can message? So what I believe in is that you have to call. You have to be able to see each other. I'm used to this because I live in Singapore for 11 years. So the way I connect with my parents and my family in Hungary is through this kind of conversation. So it's something which is really close to being there. So I think that is crucial to communicate with your athletes, to make sure that they feel good, and try not to make them feel that this situation is more difficult than others. So that's what I think is very important.
Yeah, so I see you talk about maintaining that connection and having a regular routine so that you can stay motivated. So I think this is wonderful advice for athletes or even coaches for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for everyone. So if I mean, it's really, you just have to move on. Like, instead of just worrying about how bad and difficult it is, just move on and live like if it would be a normal day. So you have to plan your day as if you would if we wouldn't have this circuit breaker. You have to schedule your things just as if it would be not a circuit breaker now. So it's these things are important. What about exercising? So you have to exercise. If if you're an athlete or a coach, or even if you are just a regular person, exercising, physical activity is really important. It's important for your body, and it's important for your mind as well. So it's just you just have to schedule that in.
Yeah,
It's
thanks. Yes, wonderful advice there. Thanks. I think really that's the advice that we've been telling everyone, not just athletes and coaches, but all Singaporeans. To stay active throughout this period, and do simple exercises that they can do at home.
Yeah.
And David, swinging back to you and the work that you've been doing in similarly connecting with the coaches, connecting with your players. How has that been like? And I wanna just allow you to share your slides and your screen. So I'm gonna give you the hosting rights here. Give me a minute.
You don't need to. I'm doing it. It's perfect. I think you just need to accept.
Yeah.
Done? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So I like to start from this picture. First of all, I completely agree with Balazs. Actually, it's really good that you explained this. I think is really good for us also to take in consideration all the aspects that you said, and thank you for that. This is a very interesting picture that, as it shows how the brain functions and create outcomes. Is one of the most important pictures for me that I like to share during the workshops and the webinars and the calls that I have done until now. So it's basically explain how the gears must connect to each other. So in other ways, all the receptors inside our brains needs to collect all the sensation. And this sensation, basically, the receptors transfer this sensation in information, and then they transfer this to the body. So I really find this one, the connection that I said before, the most important thing, because you can be a very strong athlete, but if your mind is not with you, if your sensation is not with you, if the information that you are, giving to your body are not correct, it's really hard to be or to have a very strong performance. This is the quote that I like to say to all my students and also to my colleagues. Results do not come out of nowhere. So what I mean for results is in life. So let me give you a couple of examples. Like, be happy. I want to be a happier person. But how do I achieve that? So this is a result. So change something that you don't really like. Is there something that you don't really like? You need to active now. If you stop, if you don't do anything, you're not going to achieve that result. You're not going to be happy. In family, let's say you need to have a better relation, or you need to spread more love in your family. You need to start now in order for you to figure out and to get results. Work, succeed in your field or be promoted, for example. And friends, let's say, for example, to reconnect with an old friend. So I like always to say, no procrastination and be active now.
Wonderful advice there. Don't procrastinate. I think sometimes we tend to fall into that procrastination sort of mode, and we end up not doing anything. And that's what we've been encouraging people, particularly our coaches, at this time. Make use of this time, to reflect on your coaching practices and look at what you can do now in order to bounce back stronger when things get better. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, I totally agree on that. It's like Balazs said before, just in this period of time where everything is, is settled, everything is not moving. It's a challenge period. So it's not ideal for everyone, and it's difficult. So my advice is, to keep busy and positive, like he said before. And, the most important side of this challenge in this period, because you mentioned just now, is, to understand at which point of view of your life you are at. So if you understand the point that you are at, you also can make some decisions, and also you're going to have results. So let's say if you, for example, develop the things that you believe that you believe in it most. And for example, you need to delete the unnecessary. So, if I want to be connected with my student during this period, what I need to do, I need to text them, I need to call them, I need to create a sort of relation. This is the reason why, for example, once a week, I create a call with my juniors, with all my juniors on a Zoom call. And I try to, the most important part of our job is that we need to tell them that they are not alone. We are a team. So creating this kind of situation allow them to understand that it's a we. It's not like, okay, you are alone. And they really love that. They're really enjoying that. So
I love that. Yeah, I love that about the connection and, assuring them that they're not alone. Although we are apart, we can't see each other, but we can still connect with one another. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I wanted to give you a few, advice, suggestion of what the coach needs to do, or, how the coach needs to be in order to succeed. So first of all, every coach, every person needs to develop a persona. So what I mean for persona, it's always an inside job. So what I mean for inside job is the person needs to, the coach in this case needs to, try to analyze himself or herself and try to understand which kind of coach, which kind of person I want to be. And I want to start always, I start saying, I want to be yourself first. So what I mean for be yourself is, what it makes you happy, what it really makes you happy and unique compared to the others. This is a very important concept. The tendency of the people is to copy. I want to be unique. I want to help, I want to be unique because I want to do the job that I'm good at. Credibility, keep studying and be innovative. And this is something that it's really part of my belief. I really think that credibility is really important if connected also to the other's part. Available. You need to be available, as Coach Balazs says before. You need to be available on site, online. So try to call, try to text, try to send a few WhatsApp messages, because if you're expecting that your students are going to call you, you're not going to receive any message. You're not going to receive any call. We need to always do the first step if we want to improve that. Commitment.
So we make the first move, yeah, David. So be proactive and make the first move.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, totally agree. Because, when we're talking about youngers, like, young people, or even athletes, even 18, 19 years old, my experience is they go overseas, they play competition, but they never text me. So I need to look online, see what time they play, when they finish, and then I text them. I try to wait. I try to understand, okay, let me see. They're going to text me back. No, probably not. But anyway, I said, okay, let me text them first and understand what is going to happen. The day after, I try not to text, but I actually, I didn't receive any message. So I text again another time. So we need to always do the first move if we think is correct. Even if they are, expressing an amazing performance or a very low performance, because they need us in every single moment. Admission. We need to be honest with us. We need to be honest to yourself, to ourselves, and also to themselves. So if there is something that we don't know, it's better to say, I need to look into it. I don't know. And then empathy. So ability to help the others, understand your student. And if a coach is able to have a good connection between this through an inside job, I think the coach is gonna be able to develop a great persona.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there by saying that when you do all these things, the inside job, as you call it, it really defines you as a person, defines you as a coach, isn't it? And I think you differentiate yourself from other coaches by being proactive in engaging the students, as an example, engaging the players and athletes.
Yes, I agree. So how do we motivate our athletes? Communication is everything. As we said, try to communicate, try to build a relation is the most important thing. So here are a few points that I'm trying to every day to use as a fixed point in my coaching. Athletes are important, not the coach. So coaches needs to listen more and talk less. Athletes needs to talk. They need attention. They need attention when the performance is really high or very low. Use keywords to get in the brain. As I said before, let's use the words with we. Let's do it. We can make it. Always with we and no you, because otherwise they're going to feel that they're going to be just alone. They are going to be there in a corner. Congratulate them in public and scold them privately. Quality and quantity training is crucial, and this is we're going to see later. We need to create fixed goals, short and medium and long terms. Help them to find the answers. So this is important. Try to help them to figure out the answer without telling them directly. Tell them the truth, and especially accept to be left behind. Sometimes happen, and we need to accept it.
I think this is really really good stuff, because I think it aligns to the contemporary thinking about engaging our athletes, being athlete-centric, isn't it? That the athletes is the center of what we do.
Absolutely. So let's have a look on the quality and quantity training. So how do we motivate our athletes at the end of the story? So the training needs to be based on the level of the athlete, on the attitude, on the time, on the goal, on the goals, and on the performance. And this is a very interesting graph that is from Dr. Guadagnoli, that is basically telling us the relation between the difficulty of the exercise or the training and the outcome of the athlete. So for the outcome is the learning. So how much the athlete is learning on that exercise, on that training, on that drill. So the green line is basically the amount of performance. Okay, when the green line met the blue line is where the maximum performance and the maximum learning we have. So it's not true if we have in this scenario where the amount of the difficulties of the exercise is really high, we can see that the amount of learning of our athlete is really low. So find the perfect balance between the difficulties and the outcome, that it doesn't need to be very easy or very hard. This is the perfect point for us to give them a great training, a great motivation, and a great learning at the same time. Different would be for a beginner. You can see that the green curve here is much smaller compared to an athlete. So in this scenario, the difficulty of the training obviously has to be much smaller. And the learning curve, the learning side is getting much higher compared to him in terms of training difficulties. So obviously we need to, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, the perfect balance between the quality and the quantity of training compared to the performance of the athletes is essential in our coaching daily.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I guess that's the challenge for coaches. How do we strike that balance? Because it can be a delicate balance, isn't it? Balazs, if I can just get you to jump in and share your experience and thought about achieving that balance.
Yes, I also believe that's crucial. That's very, very important. What is so balance, like the difficulty of the exercise and the satisfaction what the athletes can get from it is also very important. So if you make the exercise too difficult, they will not be satisfied. They will not be happy or encouraged to try it again. So step-by-step approach is very important. So start with easier, and then after that make it harder and harder, so they have the satisfaction and they have the learning, and at the end they achieve what was planned to be achieved, but not immediately in one step. It's really slowly, gradually increase the level of difficulties, and then they can enjoy. They will have the satisfaction at every step, and at the end they will achieve what was planned to be achieved.
Yeah, thanks for that, Balazs. David, back to you in terms of how we can perhaps leverage on technology to help us, find that balance, so that we can achieve that performance or help our athletes achieve that performance that we want.
Sure. So do technologies have an impact on our job? Well, in my job, yes, but I extremely believe that in all our sport business, we have an important impact. So technologies have important effect on business, no matter the size of your enterprise. First and foremost, the technologies affect a business ability to communicate with customers without guessing. In today's busy business environment, it is necessary for the coaches to interact with clients quickly and clearly, building a solid trust. Technologies is the way to go. I try to explain this during the workshop that I'm creating when I explain them how important the technology is. And after a quick discussion with all the coaches, they are understanding two important things. The first one is technologies are investment, are not expenses. And the second one is which kind of return of investment you're gonna have based on the technology that you're gonna buy. And if the return of his investment is high, most probably you need to buy that technology. If it's low, most probably you need to understand if really that technology is gonna help you to be unique, to be different compared to the others. So usually what we're trying to, what usually coaches needs to consider is 5 to 10% of our total income per year needs to be put in learning or technology. So if my total income is $100,000 per year, I need to put between $5,000 to $10,000 per year in learning, so in studies or technology. And this is trying to find what really makes you different than the others, and you're gonna be, I think, happier, and you're gonna be also more motivated to be better every day.
Can I chip in here for a second?
Say it again.
May I say something to this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure, Balazs. Yeah.
I 100% agree with this, but you mentioned that some percentage has to go for this. I believe that even you have to invest, even if you don't have that kind of earning. So why is it important to invest? Is because that's how you will get where you want to be. So even for athletes also, I would say it's just equally important to invest in themselves. So do not wait for everything to come to you because of whatever you achieved. If you think you deserve something, always try to invest in yourself. So coaches also, but athletes as well, even if they don't have a solid income, they should invest in their future. And technology is one thing, but learning is also extremely important for coaches and athletes as well. So not only coaches, for athletes, I think it's equally important. So if they don't see it that way, if they see that, oh, because I achieved something, I deserve to get this and that, I think that's wrong. That's a wrong approach. So every athlete has to invest in themselves, and I think that's crucial.
That's a good point, Balazs. David?
Yeah, I completely agree on that. You know, for coaches, we have, in order to succeed, if you want to succeed. So we're talking about coaches that want to succeed, because there are also some coaches that are happy to be there, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But if you're looking to succeed, two most important things you need to do. One is to invest in technology and study, and the second one is invest in marketing. If you are able to combine these two things together, you're going to succeed, because you don't need to be the smartest person in the world to be considered a very strong coach. And you don't even need to spend as much money as you have in your bank account in order to, in marketing, in order to show to the people how good you are. So if you have a great combination between these two things, I do believe that coaches can succeed easily. And this is a picture during my an Asian tour event with this is a guy from Malaysia, and was pretty amazing. I have a very good relation with him, and even though if we go back again, even though he's living in KK, I'm texting him, I'm calling him very often, like probably 1 or twice a week at least. And what is really cool is he bought the technology that I'm using, okay, one of those, and so we are having the same, the same data, the same feedback every time, so we know what we're looking for. And the most important thing, guys, is that we need to take care of our guys, of our athletes, and we need to make them happy, and at the same time we need to tell them that, yes, I want you there, I'm here for you, because I really want you. I really want to take care of you. So if you want to have a look on a few things that I'm posting on my Instagram, this is my Instagram. If you want to send me an email, this is my email on my website. So thank you, Azar, for letting me sharing the slides. I stop sharing now.
Thanks, David, for that. I think it's timely, therefore, that we take on some of the questions that our participants have put up. And I think the first question relates to what we talked about earlier, about that connection and therefore that relationship as well. And there's a question here that came up for Balazs, in that during this situation, let me pull that question out. From Lyndon Pang to Balazs. For those coaches, for those of us who are coaching in schools, especially primary schools, we're not allowed to have any way of communicating with the players except in person. So what are some of the things that we can get the team to be mentally up to speed when we move back to the training ground? What are your thoughts on that, Balazs?
First of all, it's really only my thought. I think it's not good that you are not allowed to communicate to them. But anyway, if you cannot personally communicate to them, then you have to share it. Like you have to have at least a Facebook account where you can share things with them. So it's not like you are calling them, but you are sharing things with them. What keeps them motivated? Sharing things related to your sport, related to you, like even I would say, your life, whatever you are doing during this situation, would be something what could bring you closer to them. So they have access to your Facebook account to see you, what you are doing, and what is happening in the sport, what happened in the past in the sport, post videos about that, then ask questions in that. Just an example, what we are doing now, which is for our paddling community, we started a quiz where every day we have a question what we ask, and the athletes and those who are from the sport, I think they love it, and we have a lot of views on this, and we keep them engaged, so we don't let them be alone, as David mentioned. You just have to find a way to communicate with them, even if you are not allowed to personally.
So I guess in school you can always leverage on the teachers in charge, right, to connect with the athletes and the students if you're not able to connect or directly with them. Yeah.
That would be a solution.
Yeah. David, there's a question coming in from Esther. I think this relates to what you talk about in terms of investment, that ROI. So what kind of technology or examples of technology that coaches and athletes can invest in?
Well, it really depends on which field you are. I know a few technology outside of my job, that is outside of golf. But I need to know. I would like to know more about which kind of in which kind of sports Esther is at. So based on that, I can tell her basically, try to look into it. So Esther, if you wanna send me an email or send me a message on Instagram, I will be more than happy to link you up with some of the technology out there in the market. So it's not going to be a problem.
And I guess the next question is for both of you. We'll probably take this as a last question. We do have players, student athletes who are, at just a participation level. And how do we get them to be competitive? Yeah, moving those who wish to just go on the participation level, and those who are going to go on a competitive level. How do we motivate them, and how do we convert them from that recreational to competitive?
Okay, I think everything is a competition. So even at the recreational level, you have to make them be competitive. So you can have like small games where they can be challenged. And if that happens, then those who will be interested in the sport sooner or later will take it more and more seriously. If you have the chance to succeed, and if you succeed in any kind of challenges, highly likely you will be more interested in the sport, and sooner or later you will have a chance, and I think you will start to take it more seriously, and then you will not even realize that, oh, I'm doing it seriously, and I'm taking it to the next level already. So I think the best.
So I guess injecting that element of competition, regardless of what level they are at, and if they then are intrinsically motivated to want to step up to the more competitive or higher level, then it will come naturally. Would that be correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. David, your thoughts?
I totally agree with Balazs. So I have the same idea with that. So it's more a combination of many things: communication between coaches, parents, athletes, and I will not say much. It's not easy to find an answer on that. It really depends on the athletes that you have in front. It can be an athlete that just need to have a better motivation from the coach, or it can be also an athlete that needs to have just a sort of freedom to understand and to figure out alone which kind of path he wants or she wants to follow. So I think the communication, how you communicate with them, it's really like it's predominant. It's necessary. It's crucial on that. So yeah, I totally agree with Balazs, and it's more of a sort of when you put goals with your athletes, they are also able to understand how good they are. So if they are able to achieve goals easily, or in a very hard time, or with very hard training, they're going to give them the motivation to believe or not believe in their future. So it's a combination of many things: training, coaching, communication, parents. Yeah. So we need to work. Yeah, it's when you need to work on those aspects in order for you to motivate them.
Yeah. Thanks for that, David. Unfortunately, we run out of time. Time flies when we're having fun and we're doing this really wonderful sharing. So I like to just ask you both to for some words of wisdom, words of encouragement and motivation for coaches out there and even our athletes and players as well. Some final words from you, Balazs, first, and then David.
Okay, I think I would just repeat myself what I said before, that these are, don't use the word difficult times. It's different times, and adopt to the current situation. The faster, the better you adopt, the easier life you will have, and the better results you will be able to get out of your athletes. So that's what I can say.
Thanks for that. I like that. Not look at difficult times, but different times, and the ability to adapt, I think, is what's key. Thanks for that, Balazs. David, words of wisdom from you?
My wisdom is just understand at which point of your life you are at and make your decision. Take what is really necessary, delete the unnecessary. And from that, you're going to find results, you're going to be happy, and you're going to have a very strong motivation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for that, David. Well, we've come to the end of the third edition of Motivational Mondays, and I want to say a huge thank you to Balazs and David once again for being here and sharing really your wonderful thoughts, reflections, and advice for the coaches that have been with us here on Zoom, as well as those who are watching us live on Facebook. So for coaches who are with us, just a couple of things from me before we end. As always, I think for those of you who know us, we have a tagline that says coaching better every day. So I think it's important for us to hear from you, your thoughts and your feedback about this session, so that we can continue to curate and craft better sessions for you guys. So if you can scan the QR code here, or go to that link if you're not able to scan, and I'm just gonna give you some time to just give us the feedback or your feedback on this session. That'll be most helpful. Scan the QR code or go to that link. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit more time to give us your feedback. And finally, this week, we do have 2 more e-workshops that will be coming up. Tomorrow, 12th of May, Tuesday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. By popular demand, we are bringing back the e-workshop that we did previously. But that's really on getting started on e-coaching platform. I think there's a lot of interest on how we can start coaching our students, our athletes, our players online. So we are having a second run of that, getting started on e-coaching platform. So don't miss it tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And on Thursday, look out for another workshop on building your coaching profile. And I think this relates to what David said about, building your persona. What is your persona? And I think join us on Thursday, and we'll share with you how you can build that persona, build that coaching profile in a very professional way. Yeah, so that's coming up. And we do have lots and lots of learning resources on our Coach SG website. You can also look at My Active SG Circle. That's a new platform that has come up to help you tide over this period a lot better. Yeah. And just final words from us at Coach SG, and that is a call for everyone to stay connected through these e-workshops and our coach our sessions like this. So stay connected, stay active, stay safe, and stay home. And I like to use a quote from John Wooden: "A good coach can change a game, and a great coach can really change a life." Yeah. So we wanna just finally do a group photo. So I'm just gonna get everyone. I'm gonna have a gallery view here. So if you can turn on your videos, please. Yeah, that's nice. Turn on your videos. And I know, Coach Lai, you have 2 fingers up. So today is Coach SG's 3rd anniversary. So can I ask everyone to just hold up 3 fingers? All right. So I'm gonna just take a picture. Sun Bing, you don't have Christian. You don't have your videos on. All right, everybody, hold up 3, and we're gonna take a picture there. Nice. And I wanna just switch to our other group that's on our chat. So I'm gonna move on to the second group. Jeremy, I see you there. Christine. So hold up, turn on your videos and hold up 3 fingers, please. Nice, Taha, Dennis, Simon. If you can have your videos up, yeah, and hold up 3. All right, thank you very much. We last group. Christine, Dennis, Deborah, can you turn on your videos, please? Yeah, Gary, thank you very much. Zoe, Lyndon, Chin Hin, Liana, Xiong Ling. If you can just turn on your videos, please, and hold up 3. Yeah, nice, nice. Fume. All right. Coaches, thank you very much once again. We may just hang around for a little bit more for those who still have questions for Balazs and David. We're just gonna hang out a little bit more. But for those who don't have any questions, then we wish you a good day ahead. As I said earlier, stay connected, stay safe, stay healthy, and we hope to see you at our next e-workshop. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day ahead.
Thank you, Zar, for your time. Thanks, Coach SG.